I've been pretty much unable to put Tears of the Kingdom down since it launched. This game is consuming every waking moment of my life. Maybe slight hyperbole, but I'm enjoying the heck out of this game. It is everything I wanted, and I am utterly hooked on it. So I've already put a lot of hours into the game, and I think I've picked up a few tips and tricks along the way. While I'd still like to get a little more acquainted with the game before diving into any level design or deep lore videos or anything like that, I thought I would share just a few of those tips to help you guys along the way in the meantime. And of course, the game being so new especially, this video will not contain any story spoilers or things like that. I'll keep everything as nondescript as possible, but still relevant to what I'm talking about. Alright, let's hop into it. Energy cells are vital to powering the various devices and vehicles that we can build in this game. By exchanging crystallized charges, you can upgrade the maximum capacity of your energy cell. But to get crystallized charges, you have to find forge constructs who will exchange them for zonite. The tip here is that those forge constructs actually replenish their stock of crystallized charges every so often. So if you're really looking to upgrade your maximum energy cell capacity and you've got a lot of zonite on hand, you can revisit forge constructs that you've already been to every so often and stock up on crystallized charges. It's always useful to keep an axe and a hammer handy. The new weapon fusing system is awesome, and it allows you to pretty much keep whatever you want on hand in your inventory, as long as you have the resources to make those. I personally like to keep an axe and a hammer on me whenever I can. Axes are great for being able to break crates and barrels in a single hit, no matter how strong the axe is. By the same token, hammers are particularly useful not only for breaking and mining ore, but also because you don't have infinite bombs anymore from the Sheikah Slate like in Breath of the Wild. So it's always good to have a hammer handy to be able to break rocks and things like that. Especially if you're going into caves. There are some caves that just have tons of rocks that need breaking. So it's always handy to keep a hammer with you. And speaking of fusing, the fuse system is something I would really like to take a deeper dive into, but here's just a couple of details about it that you might find useful to know. Sometimes fusing particular objects together or particular weapons together can have special effects, or sometimes even negate certain effects. Let's start with the former first. For example, if you fuse two zonai weapons together, you'll actually make something stronger than if you're fusing them separately. So it actually gets a bit of a bonus, making a new weapon that is stronger than the sum of its parts. For this example of fusion bonus, this mighty zonite sword has a base damage of 10. Fusing it with this soldier construct 3-horn, which has a damage output of 18, should give us a new weapon with a value of 28. However, because they're both pieces of zonai origin, they resonate and therefore get a bonus of 10, which now gives us a new weapon with a damage output of 38. By the same token, mismatching things can also be useful at times. The gloom weapons that you can find from a particular enemy, while very powerful, have a negative effect. It drains your health when you use it. However, if you fuse it to another weapon, specifically having that other weapon as the handle, you can bypass that effect. I guess since Link isn't directly touching the weapon, it doesn't drain his health. There are plenty of other fusions that are really useful to do, whether it just be attack boosts or other special effects, so I really recommend playing around with it and seeing what you can get. And a little more on fusing. Unfusing things can be particularly useful. If you're unhappy with something that you've fused together, or say you found a weapon from an enemy that you think was not a good fuse, you can actually unfuse those things in the menu. Unfortunately, you only get to keep the handle piece, not the secondary piece that was fused to it. That gets destroyed in the process. But say you want to undo something, or you find a weapon and you want to change what was fused to it, you have the option to do so. It never hurts to talk to pretty much every NPC and also to revisit locations you've already been to, particularly towns. I found that after completing certain major story objectives, that new side quests or events were available at places I'd already been to after those story events. Sometimes NPCs move from town to town or things like that, so you want to check in on these places and see if you can find them or see what's changed. Sometimes it's not just people moving around, but events happen. It never hurts to keep your eyes peeled, and just because you think you've finished every side quest in a certain town doesn't mean you actually have. It just might not have been a quest that was available yet. And this one, we're going to talk about a little bit of overworld navigation. In a recent video, Zeltic, the man himself, pointed out that shrines on the overworld, or the surface of Hyrule, and the light routes in the depths below Hyrule all share a name and location. Rather, the name of the light route is the shrine name inverted, but on the map, they're always in the same location, just different elevation. So this can be useful when navigating one or the other. Say you've found a light route in the world below and you want to find a shrine up above, you can check the map, maybe pin a location, and then head over there to see if you can find a shrine, or vice versa. See if you can find a light route in the depths below based on where a shrine is. That's the tip from Zeltic's video. I'd like to take it a little farther though. When navigating in the depths, or on the overworld, and you want to use the information from one or the other, you can actually toggle the minimap. If you toggle the map in the map menu, it will change the minimap as well, and you can keep that minimap on to help you navigate. This can be particularly useful when navigating the depths if you haven't yet activated light routes. And here's a reason for that. The depths map kind of parallels the map of the surface world in a way, not just with those shrines and light routes, but where there are bodies of water up above in Hyrule, you'll find walled off sections are always in those spots down below in the depths, almost like those bodies of water act as solid walls in these caves. So if there's an area you want to get to, sometimes they're just completely walled off down below in the depths, and you won't be able to get there without approaching from a certain way. So if you don't have light routes activated especially, and you're having trouble navigating down there, you can check the map up above Hyrule, see where those bodies of water are, and figure out from there where you can and can't navigate. One more note about the depths, the game extensively teaches you that Brightbloom seeds are really handy, and they totally are. They act as a source of light that you can toss around or fire off an arrow to help you see in this pitch blackness. I've noticed occasionally while diving into chasms that since it's so dark down there, it's sometimes difficult to see when you're approaching the actual ground of the depths. And I have accidentally hit the bottom without using my paraglider and then immediately died. So one tip to help see just how deep the chasm is before you land, while you're diving down, you can actually drop a Brightbloom seed from the quick drop menu and it will drop down below you and land, lighting up the area below and giving you a better idea of how much distance there is so that you can land safely. And our final tip for the day is something completely different. Recall is a great new ability that allows you to reverse the time for certain objects, basically rewinding it on its prior trajectory. This is used for some really great puzzles in the game, but it does have uses outside of puzzles as well. There are several enemies who will throw rocks or other things at you, and recall is great for sending those projectiles back at enemies. When you pull up the menu and activate recall, time itself pauses around you while you select what you want to rewind, so don't worry about having to time the reversal properly or anything like that. So if you're in a pinch and an enemy is throwing something dangerous at you, recall is the way to go. Alright friends, those are all the tips that I've got for you in this video. I might make another one later down the road, but I hope that you guys found this useful. There are definitely way more things to talk about in this game. I barely scratched the surface. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're having a great time with Tears of the Kingdom. I sure am, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye-bye. Thank you all so much for watching. Before we end this off, I just wanted to say thank you to the lovely people who supported me on Patreon or here on YouTube as a channel member, including but not limited to Grey Mage, Brenda, Tetra, Callie, Hylian West, Justin, Midnight Naomi, and Bunny. Thank you all so much for the support and for watching, and I will catch you all next time. Bye-bye.